Hello, my name is Colleen Meagle. I'm an attorney here in Texas, so everything that I'm talking about is really Texas specific. And what I get a lot of questions on, especially because of COVID-19 and all this pandemic business, are people really having to understand whether they need a will or not. And they come to me and say, "Do I really need a will? Do I really need all of these documents? Is it a good time in my life to go get all of these documents put in place?" And I will say, if you own nothing, no house, no car, you have nothing to your name, there's really not much to probate anyway. But if you have children and you have a house and you have a car, right, you really started settling down, you do want to start looking at getting all of these documents in place, and not just the will. In fact, the will is only one piece of the package. A will is important, and especially important if you have a blended family. The reason why it's important if you have a blended family is because the way that the statute works for distribution of your property may not be what you think it is if you have a blended family. So, um, if you're thinking that everything is going to go to your existing spouse and not your prior spouse or your ex, well, I think again, it's really going to go in parts to your children from that prior marriage, and your existing spouse may get a lot less than what you were anticipating them to receive. So you just want to be really, 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 really careful if you have a blended family situation. And I encourage you to reach out to an attorney in your local area to get all of that sorted. But the will, again, is only one piece of the puzzle. The will transfers, and it's the document that says, who gets what, right? And it overrides the statute for whatever the statute is providing. There are default rules in the statute, and that is in part why you don't want to be relying on the statute if you have a blended family situation, right? Kids from one marriage, kids from a second marriage. That's really what I mean from in terms of a blended family situation. But again, the will is only one piece. There's also what we call a durable power of attorney that allows for someone to have make decisions about your assets, right? A durable power of attorney is not going to be making decisions about your medical conditions, whether you get medications or anything like that. That's called a medical power of attorney. So there's two different types of power of attorneys in there. And then there's an advanced directive where you're indicating whether you would like life support or not, and how much pain medication you'd like, and any kind of special requests, such as, no blood transfusions, maybe for religious purposes, right? And so, um, after all of that, though, you can have backup HIPAA forms, you can have guardianship forms put in place, you can even have a disposition of remains document put in place. And so, really, estate planning is more than just putting the will in place, it's putting in all of the documents. And if you're expecting, for instance, because of COVID, that you're not going to die, but you think you may end up being hospitalized for an extended period of time. Let's say you're on the ventilator and you think you're going to live through it, but you're going to be, you know, pretty much under the weather there for a month or two. Um, a medical power of attorney is going to allow for, and a durable power of attorney is going to allow for other people in your family. I'm assuming you're going to put family members, but close people to you, to make decisions while you are incapacitated or unable to um, make those decisions. So hopefully that gives all of you a little bit more information about what a will is, where you do want to have a will, and why you shouldn't just stop at the will, right? You want to get all of those ancillary documents put in place, because those are the ones that you're going to need. If you've ever dealt with a family member who's passing away, and let's say you don't really know whether they want the plug pulled or not, and you have no idea. I mean, a lot of times maybe a spouse may know what their other spouse wants, but if they're not around anymore, and you've got someone who might be making a decision and not know what your true wishes are. And so you want to go ahead and get those wishes put in place, put them in writing, so that if those are your wishes, they're not really going to feel so much guilt that they did pull the plug, right? If those were your wishes, they're going to feel like, well, these were her wishes. She didn't want to be on a machine. She didn't want to live on a ventilator indefinitely. She really just wants to go peacefully. And if that's truly the case, right, that gives some level of comfort to your family about what the right decision is or what you would have done yourself had you been making the decision. So, if you have any questions, I am available for questions. My contact information is below. If I am not local to you, I'm happy to refer you over to someone who may be closer to you so that you can get some personal service from an attorney. So appreciate y'all. Be sure to follow and or subscribe. If you have any questions, I'm definitely around. So thank you.